one of the biggest unsolved murders in American history.
This man spread so much horror.
He was a demon.
The murder of John Benet Ramsey.
That was the last time he was ever seen.
This was certainly the biggest case that had ever been televised before.
Investigators have assured us that this is a case that can be solved.
True crime has captured the public's attention for decades, sparking books, podcasts, movies, all dedicated to diving into the gritty details of unsolved mysteries. Sometimes these crimes are resolved, but others will probably puzzle the public forever. Let's take a look at the most mysterious unsolved crimes of all time. The Black Dahlia. As the sun rose on January 15th, 1947, a mother out for a walk with her child in a Los Angeles neighborhood stumbled upon the body of a young naked woman, sliced in half at the waist. Her bloodless corpse left on display for all to see. The mother initially thought the body was just a mannequin, until the reality of the situation set in. The investigation was led by the LA Police Department, but the FBI was quickly brought in to assist. The FBI was able to identify the victim as 22-year-old Hollywood hopeful Elizabeth Short, later dubbed the Black Dahlia by the media for her rumored love of sheer black clothes and the 1946 film The Blue Dahlia that was popular at the time. The investigation was exhaustive, and the FBI conducted interviews and record checks across the nation. Due to suspicions that the murderer may have had skills in dissection, because of how cleanly the body was cut and drained of blood, agents were asked to check out a group of students at the University of Southern California Medical School. Nothing of note turned up, and the Black Dahlia murder remains one of the most infamous unsolved cases in American history. The could-be human sacrifice. In 1972, deep in the heart of Springfield, New Jersey, a dog brought a terrifying discovery to its owner's doorstep: a decomposing forearm. This gruesome find prompted a police search, and soon the body of Jeanette De Palma was found atop a cliff in Springfield. A 16-year-old who had been missing for 6 weeks, but her death was no accident. The hill where she was discovered was covered in eerie occult symbols, as if her body had been placed on a makeshift altar, and the rumors began to spread. Locals whispered of a coven of witches, Satanists who had used De Palma as a human sacrifice. The case was shrouded in mystery, with many details lost to the floods that ravaged the area. Some say that De Palma had angered a group of Satan-worshipping teens at her high school, who she apparently attempted to share her Christian faith with. But was she truly a sacrifice to these dark powers? The truth may be forever buried. Morgan Nick. As the clock struck 10:45 p.m. on a seemingly normal night on June 9th, 1995, a sinister event took place in the small town of Alma, Arkansas. At a Little League baseball game, 6-year-old Morgan Nick was snatched from the grasp of her mother by a mysterious stranger. She had ventured off to catch fireflies with her friends, but little did they know, the night would end in horror. A man had been seen watching the innocent children at the park. He was seen lurking around with a red Ford pickup truck with a white camper parked nearby. The camper was damaged on the right rear, described as being 4 or 5 inches too short for the truck, with a short wheelbase, paint dulled by age, and an Arkansas license plate. The man was described as a tall, white male with a medium to solid build, adorned with a mustache and a 1-inch beard. Morgan Nick was around 4 feet tall, 55 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes, and had visible silver caps on her molars at the time of her disappearance. She was last seen wearing a green Girl Scout t-shirt, blue denim shorts, and white sneakers. The investigation that followed was massive, with thousands of leads but no solid clues to the whereabouts of little Morgan Nick or her abductor. The FBI and local communities have offered a $60,000 reward for the recovery of Nick and the conviction of the subject responsible for her abduction. The search for Nick continues to this day, with numerous possible sightings of her across the US. Her parents hold on to the belief that she is still alive, and hope that with continued media coverage, someone will come forward with information that will bring their daughter home. The monster with 21 faces. Do you know Azaki Glico, the company that makes Pocky Sticks? Did you know their former president, Katsuhisa Azaki, was terrorized by a serial criminal that called themselves the Monster with 21 Faces? In 1984, two ruthless criminals, their faces obscured by masks, stormed the home of Azaki's mother and proceeded to bind her, stealing the house key to Katsuhisa Azaki's home in the process. They then invaded Azaki's home, tying up his wife and daughter. They abducted the CEO and held him hostage in a warehouse, demanding a ransom of 1 billion yen and 100 kilograms of gold bars. The CEO managed to escape 3 days later, but the nightmare was far from over. A few weeks later, the headquarters parking lot was set on fire. Then, a container filled with hydrochloric acid and a threatening letter was sent to the company. This began a string of letters from a mysterious individual or group calling themselves the Monster with 21 Faces, named after a villain in a Japanese detective series. The letters threatened the company's products, claiming they were laced with lethal potassium cyanide. Glico was forced to remove the products from store shelves, resulting in a $21 million loss and the layoff of 450 workers. After months of harassment, the Monster with 21 Faces moved on. Investigators think they almost caught the criminal after an undercover setup was put into motion. In exchange for stopping the harassment towards one of the food companies, an employee was to hand the criminals ransom money on a train. That was when an investigator, posing as the employee, saw their prime suspect. The suspect was described as having eyes like those of a fox. The fox-eyed man evaded capture. And the true identity of this mysterious entity remains unknown. But the terror and destruction they brought will forever be etched into history. Later, Police Superintendent Shoji Yamamoto even committed suicide by lighting himself on fire. Some claim he did this out of shame for failing to capture the fox-eyed man. The Monster with 21 Faces continued their torment even towards the police, leaving a final message to the media. Monster with 21 Faces decided to give our condolences. We decided to forget about torturing food-making companies. And with that, they disappeared, leaving a trail of destruction and fear in their wake. The mystery of the severed feet. As the sun set on a secluded beach in British Columbia, a young girl stumbled upon a gruesome discovery. She pulled a sneaker from the sand, only to find that it contained a human foot. The shock of her discovery was only the beginning of a nightmare. In 2007, more and more severed feet began to wash ashore, and the mystery of their origin only deepened. Though some were linked to known suicide victims, others remained a chilling enigma. Some speculate that these feet belonged to those who had jumped to their deaths from a nearby bridge, while others suggest they were remains of victims from a plane crash on a nearby island, or even from the Asian tsunami of 2004. But the rarity of only feet and no other body parts being found has only fueled speculation of foul play. Whatever the source of these feet, they have haunted the community for years and left the world wondering about the true nature of this grotesque and terrifying mystery. These infamous mysteries have captured the public's attention for decades and will continue to spark curiosity and speculation. As new technologies and methodologies continue to emerge, we can only hope that one day these crimes will finally be resolved. But others will probably remain shrouded in mystery forever.